R&B diva Phyllis Hyman is up next. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for clicking that thumbnail over here, and let's get right into it. That's right. We're talking about R&B diva Phyllis Hyman. I am wrapping up. Yes, Phyllis Hyman. I know it's been a minute since I have talked about Phyllis Hyman, and of course, for those of you who have watched those videos, then you know that I lost someone very dear to me. And so when I got around to listening to Phyllis's I Refuse to Be Lonely CD, I just shut down because it was during that time that I was listening to it. So I'm kind of focused, all right, so I can finish that up. Now, I also lost my notes. I thought I had my notes somewhere where, I kept them, and the notes wasn't there. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to go back and listen to, the songs again in order for me to tell you about some of the songs that I liked on the CDs that I listened to. But it is what it is. I'm learning. Hey, things happen. Ish happens. I shrug my shoulders and I just keep moving. That's what I've learned how to do, and that's what I'm going to do. Hey, I've learned if you make a mistake, hey, just keep moving. I'm learning that if it just doesn't kind of work out or look like you wanted to, look, hey, just shrug your shoulders and say, oh, well, next time, and you keep moving. Like, I don't care. All right. So anywho, let's go ahead on and talk. Now, if I recall when I was talking about Phyllis Hyman when she went over to Philadelphia International Records with Gamble and Huff, that they looked like what they did for Phyllis's career is the same thing they did with Patti LaBelle's career. They were able to kind of, contain Patti LaBelle from a vocal standpoint. They kind of brought everything down. They got her out of the rafters, so to speak, Patti LaBelle. They found the formula that it looks like producers and record companies kind of allowed it to, stay the way it was. They didn't change her vocal style after Gamble and Huff worked with Patti LaBelle. And I like to think that that's the same thing with Phyllis Hyman. I think what happened when she went over to Philadelphia International, it looks like they pretty much gave her a sound, and it was a sound that worked for her. Now, when you listen to Phyllis Hyman's catalog, and now that I have, I'm almost a little reluctant to call her an R&B diva, all right? It's not that she isn't. It's just now with that sound and the sound that I'm accustomed to, because you have to keep in mind, I discovered Phyllis Hyman when she, released her Living All Alone CD. That's when I heard of her, okay? So, long story short on that, I kind of think that Phyllis Hyman is more of a jazz singer than she is an R&B singer or a pop singer. Now, I understand it's not, anything that we're trying to debate over here. I am fully aware after listening to her catalog that she has branched into pop. She's branched out into, I guess you want to call it disco. She has jazz, R&B, so we understand the depth and the breadth of her catalog. Now let's get into this Gamble and Huff thing again. I like the fact that they have given her a sound, okay, and it's a jazz sound. However, it looks as if they didn't quite get it right, though. What did they didn't get right? What did Gamble and Huff, or let's just say Kenny Gamble, what didn't he get right with her? The hits, I'm sorry, it is what it is. And I don't think it's their fault, so to speak. I'm almost want to believe that maybe Phyllis Hyman, I don't want to say she was, the BB word, the blackballed. I don't want to say she was blackballed in the industry. Don't want to say that. But when you look at her career and then her music, and it seems as if, Philadelphia International, because they were still involved with her career. Even though she wasn't on Philadelphia International, I think she went from Philadelphia International then over to maybe Zoo Records, and then maybe another record company or two. Kenneth Gamble was pretty much involved. So that's why I'm thinking that they were there. But anyway, let's get back to the hits. So it's the hits that they didn't give her, unfortunately. And I'm saying the same thing to them that I would say to Clive Davis. It looks like the winning combination for Phyllis Hyman. What we wanted that up-tempo dance track, like You Know How to Love Me and Don't Want to Change the World. These are the songs that seem to be the standout in her collection as far as charting and sales or what have you is concerned. And so that's pretty much looks like the lane that she needed to stay in if in fact she wanted to have that career where, it looks like she would at least rack up some sales. And some songs that probably went past the R&B top 10, or excuse me, I would say probably the R&B top 20, because she never looks like she got past the top 10 on the charts. Her songs and albums look like they, once they got to the number 10 spot, she wasn't going to go to 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She just wasn't going to do that. And that's the reason why I'm speculating that was she blackballed or at least contained? And that can also be kind of frustrating as well, for that to happen, for an artist of Phyllis Hyman's caliber. You got to admit, something is just kind of not right in the midst of all of that. Now, I want to say overall in general, when it comes to the Prime of My Life CD, I want to say that it's definitely a song, an album that is worth having. And this is also my first time actually listening to the entire album. As you guys know out here, that it is an album that I do have. I have the CD, but I've never played it. A person such as myself, once a song came out that she actually released and I liked it, I was like, okay, I will play that song. So I got the album after Living in Confusion. And since I like Don't Want to Change the World and I like Living in Confusion, those are the two songs that I played. And of course, you're going to play the first song on the album just because. And so I will definitely play the first song. But well-produced album, Prime of My Life. I think that everybody should have that album. I really, truly do. Like, it's great. If you want to just really and truly get into the groove of Phyllis Hyman's career and what she's about, I think it's safe to say, again, you can say I'm biased. It is what it is. It's my point of view. Start at Living All Alone and work your way all the way up and then go backwards. Then go and check her latter stuff out. Speaking of blackballed, speaking of a career that looks like it was kind of contained, and then speaking of Clive Davis in previous videos. All right, here we go. this is where I'm going to have to put the alleged. For whatever reason, when I was thinking about Phyllis Hyman's career, her catalog, I compared her to another R&B diva in my head as I'm listening to the music. And I was saying to myself, like, you know what? This definitely seems to be a similar career. And when I looked up this lady's information, I was totally dumbfounded that there was a Clive Davis connection. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Now, I knew that she was on J Records. I knew that at one point in time in her career. I just didn't know she started out with Clive. Well, you know, as far as releasing music. And who is that R&B diva? Angie Stone. I don't know about you guys out there, but that's definitely what I'm getting when I was like, okay, I can see a similar style of music and a presentation, you know, if you will. And when I say presentation, I mean like singing abilities, the catalog, all of it seems to be the same. I'm willing to bet that when you listen to if you listen to an Angie Stone album and you listen to Phyllis Hyman, as far as Living All Alone, all the way up until, you know, I Refuse to Be Lonely, I think you will probably agree with me when you say I can get the connection. Now, I am aware that Angie Stone definitely has sold probably more albums and have more hits than Phyllis Hyman. But at the same time, it looks as if, think about it, Angie Stone is in that groove and she's not kind of deviating from that. And it's also find it interesting that for whatever reason, Clive Davis allows her to stay in that lane. Now, here recently, Angie Stone has made some claims about Clive Davis that I also found to be interesting. And when you watched her unsung, if you've seen it, if you watched her unsung, then you would know that she kind of, you know how you don't necessarily want to say anything negative about someone, but at the same time, you know, you kind of clean it up a little bit. But it looks as if she was frustrated with her career over at Clive Davis with Arista Records and then J Records. She went to J Records when, you know, Clive Davis was pretty much pushed out of Arista. You know, they forced him into retirement. He started J Records, and of course, Angie Stone is on that label. Long story short on that, she ends up leaving. And Angie Stone says in her unsung that when she left, he gave her $10,000. That's what she said. And she was like, now, wasn't that nice of the guy? Well, that's not what she's saying now. What Angie Stone is saying now is that she's saying, hey, you know what? They pretty much started to do some things over there at J Records with her career that she definitely did not like. And one of those things was that she's claiming that D'Angelo had lost his recording deal. Okay, he lost his recording contract with whatever record company he was signed to at the time. So she, according to her, kind of pulled some strings, if you will, you know, made some calls. She didn't want him to be embarrassed, you know, about not having a record deal. And it looks like she got him over there, maybe at J Records or somewhere. She got him a deal. And it looks like it's somewhere near around Clive Davis. Okay. Long story short, once that happened, everything pretty much started to, you know, close for her. And the first thing that kind of, you know, closed for her is that her album budget that she was working on went from $1 million down to $500,000. The other thing that Angie Stone is claiming is that she was going to record an album, or she was recording an album, and it was titled Diary of a Soul Sister. Well, they came back and told her, Alicia Keys is going to be doing an album called Diary of Alicia Keys. So it was like that was out of, you know, the question, $500,000, then whatever is going on between, you know, this D'Angelo situation, so on and so forth. And she was basically saying, hey, that was one of the, those were the straws that broke the camel's back. Why am I saying that? Because it's almost kind of similar to Phyllis Hyman, if you will, as I am comparing and contrasting, you know, the catalogs that they're having in the lane that Phyllis Hyman is in as far as music is concerned. And it looks as if Angie Stone, to me, you know, I'm kind of surprised that she has the hits and the sales that she does have. That's just me. And I think she's probably an R&B diva that I probably will check out as far as her catalog is concerned, because I have not heard her entire catalog. Moving on from that, what I'm trying to convey is that, you know, there's still some kind of, you know, some stuff going on, you know. But anywho, it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah. Now, I try to stay away from the mental health aspect of Phyllis Hyman's life. I say that because, you guys, I'm a counselor. That's what I do. I can't. This here is my sanctuary, you know, and just, you know, I just don't want to get involved in that, okay? But what I will say is that I'm shocked, you know, about it. You know, and the fact that she, you know, she left here, you know, by her hands, is still hard to believe that that actually happened. But what I didn't know is that there was some things that was leading up to that, and she was losing some very important people in her life. Okay. And it looks like she probably lost her mother and some other important people in her life. You know, they had passed. And so that's probably could take a toll on a person. I know losing someone who was very, very close and dear to me, you know, I'm still, you know, dealing with it. And when I get off work, I'm so used to calling her when I get off work that now that when I'm getting off work and I'm on my way home, you know, I'm about to go when I'm thinking, oh, let me call her real quick. And I'm like, wait a minute, she's not here. And I'm here to tell you, sometimes in my car, I'd be like, okay, the tears are coming. I'm going to let the tears come. And I'm just going to keep driving and moving right along. You understand what I'm saying? So just imagine having those things happen back to back could definitely take a toll on oneself. And also, too, you know, with her career and everything that's going on in her career, you know, that could be frustrating. And I also, if I'm not mistaken, I think also around that time, she also mentioned that, you know, she was dating a guy, and well, that didn't kind of work out, you know, for her. Now, I was having a conversation with this panel that I was a part of, the time capsules panel, and we would you know, talk about things like this. And I remember making a comment in that panel, or on that panel rather, about Phyllis Hyman and the fact that I never really heard her talk much about, you know, the big God, you know, God, as far as dealing with these kinds of stressful situations in her life. You know, I always wanted to just say, you know, okay, where is the faith in the upbringing? And I stumbled across a video with her, and I think she was with, what is that guy name who sing the song? Billy Preston. She was with Billy Preston, and they was doing a play, and they were talking about her singing, and it was some church songs that she was singing, and someone, I don't know if it was Betty Wright or someone, pretty much asked her, like, girl, where did you get those chops from? Like, how did you learn to sing, you know, the gospel that way? And she was like, hey, you know, it's just, I'm just able to do it. But it's not that I am, a religious person or I grew up in a church or anything like that. And so, I found that kind of, unfortunate, for her in her story. However, I'm pretty sure she believed, but you know what I'm saying. It's just what it is. Often you hear someone like, let's say, like a Jennifer Holliday or someone else, who have gone through similar things, and they're definitely talking about their faith in God, Melba Moore, so on and so forth. It is Melba Moore. I'm gonna have to look into Melba Moore catalog. But anywho, so I always wondered about that, but I'm pretty sure, the big God is somewhere around in her story, in her life, yeah. I don't know, you guys. What do you guys think about Phyllis Hyman's career? I think her catalog is very uneven. It is. I think her career definitely lacked direction. I could see that frustration in her. She talked about it for sure. It lacked direction, and well, I'm thinking about the comment I just made about her lacking direction, her career lacking direction. Because she recorded consistently enough, there was some breaks in between, maybe 3-4 year breaks in between, but she would show back up, with the music. It lacked artistic direction. Yeah. I remember, now that I'm thinking about this is just something just sporadic. You know what? I remember when Allison Williams came out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Allison Williams out there, but I remember Allison Williams came out in 1989 with her album Raw. Sorry. And I almost thought like she was trying to be a Patti LaBelle type, Allison Williams. I did. And it looked to me like her image was definitely almost one that was, she was kind of fashioned after Phyllis Hyman. She had that Phyllis Hyman type of vibe to her. Yeah. And vocal style, now that I think about it. Interesting. It's just interesting, the things that I kind of noticed that, I don't hear other people talking about. I'm trying to think of steady because I lost my notes. Yeah. I do believe I do believe that's it. It's the summer, you guys. It's the summer. I am definitely vacationing right now. And so I am definitely looking forward to doing more videos. As a matter of fact, what I'm about to do, I'm about to do two things. I got this other thing over here that I'm doing, video wise, but I'm looking forward to doing Rachel Farrell. That's right, Rochelle Farrell. Yes, I am about to, play her music. I was listening to it in my office last week and just trying to get into the groove. And, I'm going to now sit down definitely intentionally to listen to her music. So that collection is coming up. The Rochelle Farrell collection is coming up. I'm looking forward to it. I definitely am. I definitely consider this lady to be like a hurricane. I call her a hurricane. Anyway, so on that note, you know what I'm about to say. Yes, if you made it to this time in the video, then I think it's definitely appropriate to go ahead on and ask you, hey, check me out, hang out with me, be a subscriber. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, for you subscribers out there. I definitely do appreciate that. And leave a comment. I mean, this is not a monologue. This is a dialogue. I'm interested in knowing what you guys think. And also, too, we put our behind where our heart desires to be over here. Okay, that's what we do. Hey, do it. I'm here to tell you. Be happy. Who cares about what other people think at this moment in time? And not only that, whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, she says, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best, and I love you out there. Thank you guys so much. And also love yourself. That's so important. Loving yourself. Okay. And on that note, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next video. And until then, you know what to do out there. Take care of yourselves. All right.